This is gonna be it! And Bryan Danielson, he turns it into the lapel lock! Bryan Danielson can feel it. He can feel it right now. His family looking on. Swerve Strickland has his back to Bryan Danielson. Daniel, he's leading the yes chants in the AEW crowd in London. Swerve turned around. No! A psycho knee kick. A psycho knee kick. And Bryan Danielson, he turns it into the lapel lock. Swerve, did he tap? No. My God. In the absolute center of the ring, Danielson has it locked in. This is gonna be it. No. Swerve is fighting out of it. He's fighting out of it. Danielson has Swerve's fingers. Oh my God. He might have snapped his fingers, and now he locked it in the center of the ring. There's no way out. There's no way out. Yes, Bryan Danielson is the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And my God, London Wembley Stadium has exploded with happiness.
Take a look around Hillary and see.
This arena has
Everyone
lost its mind.
loves me. Take a look around Hillary
Look
and
at the
see.
look of Danielson's family.
Everyone loves me. Take a look around
Look at Brie
Hillary.
Bella. And there's the championship, Bryan Danielson. It was Swerve Strickland's final countdown. He just didn't know it. Yes, Joe, but you know what? It will be forever tainted by that cowboy that interrupted. Oh, will you stop it? There's tears in the crowd. There's tears in the eyes of Danielson's family. It's not his last match. It's his first night as champion. Ladies and gentlemen, please click that like button. We are live post All In Sunday. And I want to thank Allison Haktua for donating $15 to start the show. Thank you, Allison Haktua. Much appreciated. We'll give you that top spot. Bryan Danielson is not retired. He's the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And pretty much went how the prediction, I think I said this exact thing would happen, but we'll see. They did everything they needed to do to make us believe that Bryan Danielson was retiring. Everything they could possibly do almost to make us believe that he was retiring, and it was all over. And that was it. And there was leaks of injuries and doctors telling him to stop. I think a lot of it was a work by AEW. It was a masterful work, a lot of it. And how about MJF's ring attire? The guy looked like literally I don't know where Donald Trump is right now, but he better hit up MJF's seamstress or whatever, because if Trump ain't wearing that thing out on his next campaign speech, I don't know what's wrong with life at that point. But let's play it again for Allison Haktua because kind of got ran over, but I want to thank everybody for being here right now. We're about to start the show. We got Jake DeMarco is in the building, baby. We got him here. He's not dead like everybody thought last night. We don't know about Dork Night, though. We only had 2 people booked for last night. It was Jake and he passed out, man. He passed out from the drugs, let's be honest. And Dork Knight also spending a day in jail, and he wasn't able to make it last night either. I don't know where Dork is, but I'm very concerned now about where Dork could be. But we do have Jake. Thank God he's here. He passed out, but he's refreshed now. You know what I mean? We're lucky, and thank God, because if we had missed Jake for All In, that would have been crappy, you know? So it's good we got him for that. Jeff Jarrett looking like a stallion. I think Jeff Jarrett and Jericho should face each other for a retirement match, because one of those guys, you know, could easily go. But hit that like button. It's the Joe Cronin Show. We're live post AEW. Need you to subscribe if you're brand new. Need you to sign up on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show if you can't, for all the behind the scenes bonus footage. And we got the man right now. He's on the call. He's here. He's got a giant banana Batman logo next to him. And by the way, the Joe Cronin Show brought to you by the man, Sith Negan, in case you didn't know that. Brought to you by Sith Negan. And we're going to unmute Jake in just a second once I figure out how to do this shit. AEW All In, it was if you actually spent your whole Sunday watching this thing, congratulations to you. We're going to find out what Jake watched. I know what I watched. I don't really know what Jake watched 100%. Jake, what did you watch of this show today?
All of it. I have been here from the pre-show onward. I was hanging out with Triple M. I bullshit and did a watch along with Sith Negan.
There you go.
Him and I have been talking back and forth and just hung out with a few people in the stream and watched everything from top to bottom. I really liked the main event. My favorite, obviously, was MJF and Ospreay. I wish that MJF and Ospreay never had that match on Dynamite, because this one had such a slower pace and it had a little bit more of the emotional side of things. But as far as the wrestling goes, that match they had on Dynamite, I didn't think they'd be able to top that. And it didn't fall flat, but certainly wasn't as good as what we saw on free TV. So I wish they gave that to us tonight. I'm glad that, you know, MJF, Mr. America, was vanquished by the hometown Brit, and we got to see Ospreay reign supreme. He brought back the Continental Championship. But then again, I don't think it was a horrible, you know, as the USA title either. It didn't really sell it that way. But great match there. Besides that, there wasn't a hell of a lot to really like write home about. They brought back Jamie Hayter on the pre-show.
Yeah,
on the pre-show. Weird. That was baffling, especially when you had both women's main events that she could have been inserted into in a million ways. But instead, you have her do like a surprise run out against Saraya, who's in the ring telling people to shut up. Like, it was just a very bad heel promo. And last year you had Saraya win with her family. Now this year her family and them are heels. So people didn't know what to make of it.
I think it was
certainly odd.
I think they just brought Jamie Hayter in literally so they could have something for Saraya to do. That was it. It was just about.
Seems like that was the idea behind it. Yeah, just like, here, we need to get you involved and we can have her return 2 for 1. But for a show that was supposed to vanquish the haters and explain how important women's wrestling is in AEW, you only had 2 women's matches on the main card, and you had a mixed tag match on the kickoff show. So, I don't know. The women's matches tonight weren't for me. But like I said, loved the Ospreay match, and I really thoroughly enjoyed the main event. I got that wrong. It was the only thing I got wrong from predictions. I nailed everything but that. You got me bested there, Joe. So the one and only Joe Cronin.
I think you had more.
Bryan would win.
I think you had more right than I did. I just had that one particular.
But you had the main event, and that's what really matters.
Well, that's all we're gonna remember. Oh, look at this! Look at this!
Fantasy.
Oh shit!
Oh my God! The sound wave!
Someone reaching back for me, racing on the thunder, and rising with the heat. It's gonna take a Superman to sweep me off my feet.
Oh man, the sound wave! It's so good to hear from you.
I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. And he's gotta be strong and he's gotta be fast. He's gotta be fresh from the fight. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the morning light. And he's gotta be sure, he's gotta be soon. He's gotta be larger than life, larger than life. I need a hero. I'm holding out for
Bryan Danielson is the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. and not a Sandman in
Yeah,
sight.
you did a fantastic work by making people believe Danielson was gonna retire, but I believe that his retirement will now be at Wrestle Dream in Tacoma, Washington. Great main event, but I was kinda baffled Jamie Hayter was only on the pre-show for a return.
Wow, Jake literally just said that. That's so spot on. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
A couple of things.
Because it's not an original idea. Everybody's saying it. I'm sorry. I'm not the only one. You know, it's just a lot of people have wanted her back for so long. You know, Sith Negan especially. So many people wanted to see her return, and then all of a sudden she just comes out on the pre-show for a quick little beatdown with Paige. It was very just beneath her for everything. I mean, she had to be taking the title away from her. She had to be stripped, and she never lost. So it was like always this kind of like air over her of like, oh, when she comes back she'll be in the main title picture, and instead it was just this moment that should have been on the main show, if anything.
What's going on right now in wrestling a little bit is sometimes they're overthinking it, and they're kind of mixing their kayfabe with their actual entertainment. And what I mean by that is I have two examples of this. Number one, Jim Ross on the call at the end. There was a dangerous move at the end, and Jim Ross said something like, there's like not a lot of margin for error for either guy. And it was like, well, there's no error on the guy that the move is being done to. Bryan Danielson is putting him into that move. So why are you saying that? So JR is breaking the fourth wall, kind of, talking about the risk of both men who are pretending to be fighting. So they did
that a few times tonight. The commentary was especially bad, though.
Yeah,
I know we always say that, but
yep.
Like we just heard Mauro Ranallo's returning to Maple Leaf Pro. You know, they're going to have their thing there, and it's like, oh my God, how I miss his way of calling things. It wasn't for everybody, but that style I enjoyed. And he always brought like an air of logic to it. It always made sense. With this, like you said, they would just take you out of it. It's like watching a Deadpool kind of movie, you know, where they're in and out of the fourth wall break. So it's like, get it? That's kayfabe, right? You know, and it's like, well, why bring that up at all? It's odd. It takes you out of it. So they were kind of all over the place tonight as far as commentary goes. I mean, they wanted to make moments here, and unfortunately, it wasn't until later in the night when the sun went down that the arena really looked nice. Like Jack Perry's entrance was really cool at that point, but it took till then because you had, you know, everybody trying to be a heel in the dark during the day doesn't work. You know, you can't be evil in the daytime. I'm sorry.
Oh, you can be. I can take you to San Francisco and prove you otherwise. Really quickly, though, I have one more example of this. My other example of like how the like overthinking of the work is this is really weird, but in the main event, when they sort of acted like Bryan Danielson may have been really injured, which you could add up a whole list of how they tried to make you feel like Bryan Danielson wasn't going to win. But like they tried to make it seem like he might be really hurt, so the medical staff runs in. Now the medical staff leaves quickly, almost as if to say they checked on him and he's going to be okay. So they wanted you to think that maybe this was real and that the checking was a precaution. They found out he's okay and they got out of there, instead of making you think, oh, this is obviously a work. And now
but they also
leaving.
said Daniel Bryan shooed them away. He's like, oh, he pushed the health team away.
Well, and that ruined it. That made you know it was a work. But
exactly.
But the weird thing about it is when he got hurt originally, Prince Nana and everybody was acting like it was real. And Prince Nana was waving medical people like get in there and check him, something's wrong. And they tried to sell it like, oh, like even the other guy's concerned, so this might be real. So the weird thing about that, though, is then within about 30 seconds, Prince Nana went from, you know, oh, go in and help him, like, no, seriously, something's wrong, check his arm, to all of a sudden, get out of here, medical staff. And it was like, what?
Exactly.
What the fuck? It was so weird.
That's the things that take me out of it. I mean, Sith and I were just saying back
they
and forth
overthought
about, yeah, we're very tired of the strong style, you know, where you stand there and take chops or you lay it into each other and, oh, I'm too tough to sell it, and those type of kick out at one moments that don't make sense. I'm sick of it. Get rid of the MMA-esque era that, you know, we're done with all of that crap. But honestly, like you were saying with Bryan, he has that kind of like built-in sympathy because he was forced to retire. So when people see him go, ow, you really are like, oh God, no, we don't want to lose you again. And he likes to play upon that. He even said in interviews, that's why he liked to do the seizure cell. He didn't mind doing that because he thought it would work the crowd. And he's right. And it does. So he doesn't care about fans being upset. He's all right with fans, but he definitely sells the injury and makes it a statement. And then that's kind of been a staple of his matches recently. But then again, we know, reported by him and doctors, that he needs surgery on his cervical spine again.
Right.
That he's had numbness and tingling, and so eventually he's going to need surgery. So you gave the title to somebody that, all right, he didn't retire. Thank you. Let's what good are we going to get out of it? But Bryan is so beat up and damaged that he needs to go have surgery. They've said this multiple times.
Are you
so
sure?
What are you going to
sure,
do for a story? You're going.
Are you sure this isn't a work though? Are you sure that's not a work? Because I almost think that they leaked that out on purpose to set this up.
I don't know. It seems like
think that's
he just
part of
said
it.
he was holding off on the surgery until he absolutely had to get it.
I honestly, listen, and maybe it is true, and it very much could be true, and they're using it as well. But it almost makes me wonder, like, is that not true? Is that part of, because it started with that, and then it started with this, and then is he leaving, and his contract is up? They did everything. They leaked out medical problems. They leaked out he's going to be retiring. They leaked out he promised his kids retirement, whatever. They leaked out the contract stuff. They've leaked out damn near everything, all in this methodical way to get to this point tonight to really make you think, like, this is his his go goodbye match or whatever.
I'm going to interrupt here because I wanted to find the exact quote. It came 3 months ago, and he was talking to, this is on Microsoft, but I forget who he was talking to here. And Bryan said, I hurt my neck really bad. I'm wrestling Will Ospreay. I go to give him a Frankensteiner off the top rope. I've never had this happen to me. He lands right on his feet. I go straight down on my head. And then later in the match, right before he pins me, he hits me with a storm driver. He said, I got shooting pains down my arms. I have a compression of the nerve root at C6, C7, C7, and T1. I've got this shooting pain that runs down my arm that won't go away, and it makes my hands go completely numb. The doctor told me that pretty soon I have to get surgery. The only way I can hold out is if I can keep the strength in my right hand. Right now it's still there. I have the shooting pain, but I've still got the strength.
Right.
The moment he loses the strength, he has to go for the spine surgery and get a decompression done of the C6 to T1 area. So basically the rest of his cervical spine into his thoracic spine. That I have my cervical spine fused. I know it's awful. I don't see him being able to wrestle post that, or it'd be something very limited. So giving him the title, knowing that he said this himself, whether it's to sell a point or not, he's still worse for wear. He needs to be fixed surgically to not have loss of use of his arms. I mean, you're talking about serious life impacting shit now. And then you see all those moments tonight, and you're like, "Well, what's fake? What is he selling? Is he really twitching like that? We don't know?" And that's what kind of makes it a little bit disgusting in a way.
But great, but disgusting.
But great, exactly. And something. I mean, it added that element of like the underdog element to it. Certainly, it really was like, oh, he's battered, he's beaten, but he has heart, even though we know Swerve is a sadistic bastard and will cut promos on babies, he is maybe not enough to contend with the heart that Bryan has.
And I like
that was the story they sold, and it was a good main event. It just makes me cringe knowing that it is based in reality. The fourth wall breaks are there because his spine is broken. That's the fourth wall break.
I like that they involved Hangman, which is what I thought. You could have Swerve go off into this crazy mid-card battle with Swerve, and they literally did exactly that tonight. So
I'm glad it didn't play into the finish, though. So now Swerve can go and face Hangman on his own, and it sucks that this is how Swerve loses the title, and his reign was really just kind of a miss.
A flash in the pan. It was a flat. You hear that in wrestling all the time. This literally was flash in the pan stuff.
Very similar to Damian Priest in WWE. He just lost his belt to essentially a bigger star as well in Gunther, and now it just feels like he's forgotten.
Yep.
Sadly.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you right now. I'm going to tell you the main stuff I saw tonight because I watched the entire. I watched the entire. What do you call it? I watched the entire MJF match. I watched this entire main event. I saw half of a couple other things, and I missed the first hour and a half. And I saw the Darby Allin stuff with Jack Perry at middle way through the end. So I missed the first hour and a half of the show for sure. What in my opinion, I'm gonna tell you my opinion real quickly of like what I thought. Like I thought the MJF Ospreay match I think might have been my favorite, or it's going to be tied with this one. This one might have been the best match of the night. And then after that, I feel like that maybe the Darby Allin Jack Perry match. Those are the three that stick out because I sort of saw them the most.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Is there something else that I'm missing, or what else am I missing here from this puzzle?
You're really not. So the opening had the multi-man ladder match for the trios titles, and it was just a blatant spot fest. They had a couple of cool moments, but nothing that was like overly incredible. And a lot of it was just like, oh, we're gonna get Nick Wayne's mom involved. So there's the Mother Wayne spot, and there's the. And it's guys standing there to catch you as you're ready to jump, or waiting to go through tables. Like it had a lot of that. But Pac, Claudio, and Wheeler Yuta, known as the Bastard Combat Club instead of the original naming, they got to make something special out of that. But they won, so they're now the trio champions. I mean, they really sold the finish too, and it was kind of like obvious they'd win by all the what a moment that Shivani kept yelling as Pac was reaching for the belt. So you kind of knew that was the end. Then you had Toni Storm and Mariah May, and this was quite the long match feeling wise. The pacing felt slow. They ended up fighting over the shoe, and it played out exactly as I had predicted, that Toni would not be able to pull the trigger on the execution. She wasn't going to be able to be as vicious as she needed to be, because she still has some compassion for Mariah May, and then Mariah would seize up on that opportunity and get the pinfall and win the title. And that's exactly as it played out. She couldn't hit Mariah May with the shoe. She threw it away. Mariah May gets the best of her, wins the title. Then we had Jericho with Fozzy playing him to the ring versus Hook. This was everybody's bathroom break. Really just not a great match. And then it all built to Taz finally getting involved and getting the Taz mission on. I don't even know who the hell he got it on. I think he did it.
Oh man, he should have put it on Jericho.
I thought he did it on Keith, the bounty hunter there.
Yeah.
But I think that's who he did it to. But still, you had Big Bill go through a table that was covered with barbed wire at one point, but he was standing on the apron and he kept like looking behind him, waiting to be like, am I lined up? Okay, you can hit me now. Like one of those, like, just, it didn't look good. Jericho's not great in these hardcore matches, and I know the weapons are there to kind of keep him from having to be overly athletic, but for what they did, I guess for a garbage match, at least you got to see Taz and his son, kind of bond at the win with the title.
Yeah, that was like the story.
That was cool,
really.
But yeah. Then we had the Young Bucks triple threat with FTR and the Acclaimed, and I'm sorry, this was a bore. All of this is like we've been there, done that, and every time anybody did anything that was supposed to be a wow moment, it was like we've seen better than that on Dynamite, like the Shatter Machine or things as such. Nothing really stood out here. Billy Gunn, basically, they missed him being taken, like being hit by the belt and taken out of the ring. But
I want to stop you really quickly. I want to stop you right now, real quickly, before you continue. Real quickly, Sith Negan just said this to me, and this was going to be a big point that I brought up to you. The fucking camera cuts are awful in AEW. They are behind, ahead, wrong. I just want to say this, and I'm not trying to insult anybody creatively back there if they ever watch this or whatever, and I'm so sorry. It takes more than one to tango. It takes two to tango, they say. But I just got to tell you, man, whether I'm assuming it's the director, but it could be the technical director's fingers don't work right or something. But whatever it is, they are missing shots all over the place, and to me, it comes down to the director not knowing which cameras to switch to. It's either the director is calling out the wrong cameras at the wrong time, or
I'm sorry, Mr. Cronin. I'm trying to go as fast as I can. My name is Mr. Asshole. I'm trying to move, and when he tells me the numbers, I get a little confused. I'm like, oh, 2. So I have really bad anxiety. So when you yell at me and tell me the numbers, I then don't know what to hit. But
yes.
I'm trying.
I said camera 7. Yes,
to the dog show.
But AEW and one of the guys is like, listen, I know we needed to say that we're inclusive and we hired a retarded person, but like this isn't working. Okay, we missed the entire shot. So the technical director or the whole production team, somebody's not a professional. Sorry to tell you, somebody is not good. Say what you want.
That was the point I was making, because the referee as well as the cameraman both have to make it look like, oh, I didn't see Billy Gunn taking the belts out of the ring. Oh, no. And it's like, but then you have to eliminate. It just doesn't make sense, for the ref and the camera to miss it.
Yeah.
It's a bit too much.
Jake, if we started a new channel where we literally watch the entire pay-per-view over again and we tried to grade it based on production of the camera shots and stuff like that, what you saw tonight, and I'm not even joking about this, if you took all the AEW pay-per-views of all time and you took all the WWE pay-per-views of all time, and we had the time for some reason to sit there and give everything a score, I am willing to put my life on the line, my children on the line, that this would be the top 10 worst produced, especially video-wise, wrestling event that we've ever seen in our lives in the top 10. It might be one. It might be 2, 3, 4, 5. But I would be willing to bet in the top 10 of all time, this was really bad. Now, WCW had some bad moments too. But one thing you can say about, you can make fun of Kevin Dunn all you want, all this stuff, WWF Kevin Dunn, that fucker would not have missed this much shit. Why did that guy get so buried for so long, yet there's a faceless and a nameless person in AEW that's not getting blamed for this fucking trash that I saw tonight? And I'm talking about production. The show overall was a 6 out of 10 to me, but the production tonight was a 2 out of 10. If you were to win an Oscar for an event, you would have won a fucking shit bag for this one tonight. This was terrible.
And Sith was spot on in the chat as well, saying about a gauntlet match. It's supposed to be booked like a Royal Rumble. You start with 2 people. Once an elimination occurs, the next person gets in till you get a winner. Instead, they're like, oh, for the Casino Battle Royal, you could just win at any point in time. Even if the rest of the entrants haven't come out yet, you can pin somebody right away.
Right.
What sense does that make? So again, that's something else that takes you out of it. It's just it's like the reverse battle royal that TNA was always mocked for. Same idea, because doing it in reverse makes no sense.
And
the intervals in time in which people came out. So the surprise there was Ricochet, but then they wasted him by having him lose to Luchasaurus holding down Christian. Like it fell so flat. You wasted Ricochet's debut after wasting Jamie Hayter's return on the main show. You didn't have her, come back then. You let her do it on the pre-show. So you're like 2 for 2 with debuts and returns. I mean, I don't know. It's just a lot.
How about him keeping
flat.
his name? Can you believe that he took his WWE name? That was surprising.
Well, WWE just recently started doing that. Funny enough, that they're allowing people to keep their names and their basically their creative properties. If it's something that they had previous to coming with WWE, or if it's their actual
idea,
internal IP.
I'm assuming that it was his idea then, because he came up with that in WWE. He came up with this name right in WWE, and now
I thought he was Ricochet before he even went to WWE, because I know he did the whole Prince Puma thing as well, but I thought he had the Ricochet angle that he did with Ospreay when they had that.
Oh, maybe he did. I thought
crazy
he was
athletic match, and then he came in as Ricochet and just stayed as Ricochet.
Okay, see, I thought he was Prince Puma always. I never knew he was Ricochet outside.
You might be right. I'm still perk angling it from the knee surgery, but I'm pretty sure that he had the name Ricochet in the indies before, or at least I remember when Vader was ripping pissed, remember, and calling him all sorts of inflammatory anti-gay names because he said that they were just flopping around and all the ridiculousness that is today. That wasn't wrestling. It's when him and Ospreay had that real athletic start to their match where they kind of just bounced around for 2 minutes, reversing each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
No, I guess people are saying he trademarked it. When
he was. I think he trademarked the name when he was in WWE, but
That's
he
crazy.
had it before.
But
he had it in New Japan. Yeah. Okay, so he did have it before.
And I feel like WWE is fair now with that. So WWE, if they created it, they want a piece of it. And if they made it, they want a piece of it. But it seems like you said, Jake, like if he came up with the idea and had it already rolling around and then brought it into WWE or brought it to WWE, they're kind of allowing you, like, okay, you came up with it, it was all you, and we agreed to it, so yeah, it's yours. And then he trademarked it. So
they went ahead now and they said it was just July 15th. I know it was on one of the recent Out of Nowheres we mentioned it, but he said, when talking to the company, you had who was it here?
And it's also good for WWE.
Ethan Page, Stephanie Vacour, all of them. They said that the TKO deals are such that when you go to WWE, they are going to trademark everything. So they allowed you to trademark it, but they also allowed you to keep it. So that's cool.
Yeah, and I think that like
and that's new.
it's good for WWE in some way too, because if he does stuff there and other places, then people are going to look for his stuff and they'll look to WWE that, he was in WWE. So it's like the name carries over. So in some ways it can hurt your company and you can hurt them by making them change it. You can hurt people that way. But there's also a way that it helps you. So, being...
When you leave, give the trademark back to you now. That was a new standing.
That's different.
The Triple H regime, yeah. As where before Vince owned everything. That's why you had to become the CEO if you were the boss, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Now that's not the case. As of July 15th, you can now leave with your
Shit
intellectual
bomb.
property.
Afternoon, Joe and Jake. Just got off work and in my car. How was All In?
There you go. While we're talking about it now, there's the man himself, D. Welsh, $5, D. Wealth. People started calling him D. Wealth last night on the show.
I know. He messaged me being like, where the hell are you? You missed a massive bomb from Seth Megan. And I said, I know. I set the alarm and everything, but I managed to somehow not wake up. So
No.
I was a very sad kitty.
I don't know if it's D. Wealth after Sith really ruined D. Wealth last night.
He called out everyone. Sith was like, here, you're going to call me out all these times. I'm going to tell you to shut the fuck up. Sit down before I make you taste my dick. I mean, Sith was not playing around. That's some big boy numbers. Every time D. Welsh called him out, Sith just showed why you don't do that.
God, the way I got to clip you saying that, bro. That was, oh my God.
Gotta happen.
That was Garguts like from last night. I got a clip of him. Oh shit. Oh my God, the Pitbull Blonin. Yo, Blonin. The Acclaimed.
Show was bad. This is their WrestleMania not worth $60. Glad I pirate watched it. Bark bark.
Yo, bark bark, Pitbull Blonin. Thank you for the $9.99, sir. Wow, Pitbull Blonin, OG coming in with the $9.99. Yeah, I can see why you would. Almost everybody pirated it, I feel like. I don't know anybody that bought it. So a couple people definitely bought it. Here's a clip from Garguts from last night. If you guys weren't watching me last night and monetized this, Garguts had a little something to say. Listen to this.
Oh my God!
Why? This was our reaction to Sith Negan dropping a $2,000 donation, and this was
insane.
Insane. Listen to this.
Oh my God!
Why?
How? Shit!
That just got me. Why?
That was
How?
the
Shit.
Jesus, like you would have. That was the craziest reaction ever.
When I saw that, I died.
Shit.
Oh my God.
I don't know why, but that was.
What did you just say a minute ago that was funny? I forget already.
I make you taste something about dick.
Oh, here it is. Here you go.
From Seth Megan, and I said, I know. I set the alarm and everything.
Okay, we got to clip you saying this before I forget it because this is too good. Danielson's kids, oh my God, so cute in the crowd. That's a beautiful thing. And now let's
They
clip
really
Jake.
sold it with them too, being there. You
I
really
managed
thought
to
this was going to
somehow
be the
not
wake up. So
No. Right.
I was a very sad kitty.
I don't know if it's D Wealth after Sith really ruined D Wealth last night.
He called out everyone. Sith was like, here, you're going to call me out all these times. I'm going to tell you to shut the fuck up. Sit down before I make you taste my dick. I mean, Sith was... I'm telling you, Sith. Don't want to fuck with Sith him. Was like, kept calling him out. That's what happens.
I'm going to put that at the beginning of the Sith Negan song before it plays. Like, I think that would be...
He would be happy, I'm sure.
Like, you imagine his don't...
That was enough. I like the other one, the one you guys went with between the two songs.
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like them both, but the first one was good. Pitbull blown, and thank you, bro, for the donation. Yeah, he made him taste it last night. D. Welsh tasted all of it last night.
He gobbled.
I think Welsh donated like $100 or something, but then, yeah.
He was saying, "Where's Sith? I haven't. Come out, wherever you are." He had a few little taunts like that, and yeah. I will tell you what, though, we got to see some breakdancing ninjas. Raygun, eat your heart out.
Yeah,
Ospreay had a very cool entrance. So did MJF. This was a fitting entrance to Osprey. Even though there was more people last year, I felt this was more fitting. So the crowd was really into that. They were chanting the whole time, singing along. They weren't as loud as what we've gotten used to in like a PLE environment recently, where they just chant the entire time and never shut up. They weren't as boisterous as All In last year, certainly, but it was still a really good crowd overall. But you did notice, I wish they kind of packed people in together tighter, because there were so many empty seats that it did take you out of the sight line.
They really wanted this big walkway, and it did take a little bit away from the look.
Yeah, they didn't need to. They could have shortened down the stage some and packed people in tighter, and it would have been such a better sound, better sight, all of it. Because every time they turned to the crowd in certain areas, you would see like just a row of people, and the entire section would be empty. So
yeah, that was weird. I don't know what the reason for that was, to push carts or something, or merch, or just for safety to have people more walking space usually. I'm not, or if it was a visual thing to sell more seated seats. I don't know.
Kind of seemed like that. And like Seth said, he said, I've said it before, I'm sorry I'm not around much anymore due to my work schedule. I'll be weekends only for the foreseeable future if I don't fall asleep beforehand. End of line. Well, sir, we appreciate just when you're here in general. So
65 months almost in a row on Patreon as a $100
uninterrupted.
Producer. That's crazy.
What a badass. Yeah, MJF had a great entrance. The streamers stayed up for, I think, the rest of the night in some of the spots.
Yeah, I kept looking at that one in the middle and the front. I'm like, the streamers are still all over the ring.
I have a hard time always wanting to give matches, that 5 out of 5 rating. Like Meltzer hands them out like candy, but I genuinely feel like that Osprey MJF 59-minute, 59-second match that they had, where they got like the 55 seconds or whatever, like 3 seconds before, and they got the pinfall and teased us all. You think it was going to be a time limit draw, but it wasn't, and that was great. That entire match, the pacing was much faster. The story element, and as it built, you kind of assumed the ending you were getting. As we're here, we knew Osprey was definitely going to win. It was just a matter of when and how. And getting there at times, I think they let the pace go a lot slower than the previous bout, and that kind of let things be. It was left a little bit to be desired. It was still a very good match, but it was a really methodical match. Dynamite.
That other one was the video game, knockdown, drag him out, video game. This was a methodical match, but yeah, Jake, it's like, why didn't they do a 30-minute time limit match before and make this the one that's either 40 or an hour? You can't go backwards,
Exactly, and this felt like a step backwards. And MJF still shows you why, hey, I don't need to do flippy-do shit and kill myself for a reaction. But if you want me to, I can. As he does a damn, leaping shooting star press from the top rope, and then he leaps to the outside, lands on his feet. A little bit of a sloppy landing, but still pretty much close enough to sticking it. I mean, all of these things. But the only thing I have a problem with, and it's kind of the culture of wrestling in general, is the constant false finish, kick out, finisher spam. I mean, you get some guys where, like, Osprey got hit with everything but the goddamn kitchen sink, and he kept kicking out at 2. I mean, he hit him with the crossroads, and he hits him, kicks out, hits him with a brain buster, kicks out, hits him with, I think, and then he kicks out, and it's like, come on, how many times can we get Osprey to kick out here? I like the spot they did with Osprey hitting, Osprey going ahead and hitting the cameraman from MJF's side, and they knocked down the cameraman, and Osprey was worried about him, but MJF just wanted to get back in the ring. I like it being. I understand why they added Daniel Garcia. I thought that was the hat on the hat moment. We really didn't need Garcia there to go ahead and have him get involved, especially since he didn't really play into the ending all that much. I get what they're going for and having him side with Will, but it still just felt kind of flat. Didn't need Garcia to get involved, but MJF calls him a piece of shit, and that's when Osprey hits him with the hidden blade, and then the Tiger Driver finally is brought back, gets to 3 count. Osprey wins 25 minutes, 50 seconds. Felt slower than their 60-minute match, and it was literally less than half the time. So that it was kind of a problem. The pacing was an issue, and what they did here left quite a bit to be desired. But overall, still a really good match. I wish they just never faced each other to begin with.
Right.
They really spoiled us with that outing, and I feel like they could have given us so much of that here, and that would have been a 10 out of 10 match, no doubt about it. If they gave us what they did at Dynamite here, that would have stolen the whole damn show.
What did you think about the Darby Allin Jack Perry match? How did you feel about that? And of course, Sting coming back to help Darby at the end.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about Sting coming in, but I get what they're going for. I mean, Darby really doesn't do well delivering promos. He needs a mouthpiece. I'm far from the only person to say this. So if they have Sting coming back to be kind of like the manager for Darby,
well, why does he have to stay back? I thought it was just a one night. Hey, I'm here to help Darby. That's it.
It very well could be. I'm not sure. Some people are saying that he signed like a Legends type deal, so he might be around for a while and not be retired in the sense of like off TV. Other people saying it's one night only. So I guess we'll see. But
yeah.
I like this match for what we got. It wasn't great, but it told a good story. It showed how sadistic and evil Jack Perry is. And then all the way up until the end, he really beat the shit out of Darby. It makes me wonder, Seth said it as well, but it makes me wonder, was Darby actually cleared to wrestle tonight? Because they really didn't do a ton with Darby, and it was more Darby like taking moves and dealing with painful things than actually wrestling. And I'm not sure if that was like to hide some limitations because he can take pain a certain way, but still, poor guy threw his body all around constantly. They're going to, you have Jack Perry win the match. Now he's going to set him on fire. The Young Bucks bring out the petrol, and that's when Sting makes the save. Cool moment. I wish they didn't let it be known that Sting was there. I mean, they kind of hinted on it a lot at social media, showing him arriving. It's like, I would have avoided that happening. But all in all, fun moment to have Sting come out and save Darby from being cooked like a goose. So not bad. But the match itself, all right, it showed Jack Perry has this sadistic evil streak, so it makes him be more of a badass.
Yeah, I think it was just for a moment, to have like, hey, we can have Sting come out. You'll have a little casket match. I was fine with it because it's something different instead of just moves all over the place and somebody wins and whatever the hell else happens. And
I've been going to wrestling shows for over 30 years.
Twinkle
Never
teaches.
in all that time have I ever felt until last Sunday
Uh-oh.
that my security, my safety, my life was in danger at a wrestling show.
Anyone looking to plow me in front of my cuck, Mr. Pico.
Oh.
He doesn't satisfy me and usually Dork fills me up, but he's tied up with legal issues. Please beware, I'm physically disabled and can't provide you with oral pleasure. But Pico can do that for you.
Oh my God. Twinkle teaches, saying the dork fills her up better than, wow. Okay, well, I don't know what to say about that. I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one. Twinkle teaches, thank you.
You all have decided to take your hard-earned money and to fund my show,
goodness!
to fund what I do, to fund what I believe in, to fund my godly ass. JCS Army, donate to me.
It's the Pitbull Blonin!
Acknowledge me.
Wow. He's come out of his doghouse to be here tonight. The first time in months.
Making his return.
This was not worth $60. Rather give my money to you, Joe,
Oh.
the daddy of this community, to go off on this AU shit.
Yo, what's up, Pitbull Blonin? He didn't like it either. And listen, some people are calling me crazy for giving it a 6, but I mean, like you said, Sith Negan's giving it a 5. I mean, Jake, what are you giving it?
I think I'm giving it a 6 like you. I mean, not to sound too on the nose, but I mean, I really feel like it wasn't a failure, but it wasn't a triumphant success either. So
wow.
That D rating feels about right. I mean, the Casino Gauntlet match started with Okada and Orange Cassidy. So they have the history of them being in chaos, but you don't know that unless you're an avid fan. So you're seeing them hug and you're like, why? But they went ahead. Nigel McGuinness came out next. They got a huge reaction. Kyle O'Reilly came out. Then we got Zack Sabre Jr. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I don't connect with Sabre Jr. I don't enjoy his wrestling. I don't like him. I as a character, I've never enjoyed him. I'm not sure what about him rubs me the wrong way, but it's just someone I've never enjoyed. So him winning the G1 was, in my book, already a crap. Then we got Roderick Strong coming out after him, and then we had Mark Briscoe, Hangman Page, then Jeff Jarrett, and then the 10th entrant was Ricochet. So I'm like, interesting. He's not the last man. I really thought we would have saw Ricochet come out at the end of MJF and Will Ospreay with his history with Ospreay in that match, that they would kind of play off of that and challenge Ospreay for the Continental title. But instead, he shows up here. They say Ricochet is all elite. He gets his pyro. Next up is Christian. And then finally we get Kill Switch, and he comes in and he basically just holds Christian down on top of Kyle O'Reilly. They get the pin, and 26 minutes in, it was not worth it. And now Christian has a Money in the Bank essentially contract. So I thought that might play into the main event, but it didn't. They're going to hold on to that for a little bit and do what with it? I'm not so sure, but we talked about the MJF and Ospreay match, but the Mercedes and Britt match.
Here we go. Now let's talk about that.
That fell flat. I'm sorry, but for what they were going for and a lot of the moves, it just looked sloppy. Even Cody had reached out and he's like, is it my eyes or are they actually just being very, I'm like, no, it just looks sloppy. It looks like Mercedes is having a hard time following through, and it seems like, Britt's having a hard time taking some of these moves. So a lot of what they were trying to sell just looked clunky. Like it just didn't come across well.
It almost reminded me of like both of them were mad at each other previously for being too stiff in a match. So like they were both timid about, don't want to hurt her, don't want to make her mad or whatever. And that's what they were wrestling like. It was very weird.
Yeah, like, the walk on eggshells type.
Especially since this is supposed to be like a blood feud at this point. And I was, and by the way, this was the third, I was the most interested in MJF and Ospreay. And then I was most interested in Darby and Jack Perry, and then it was Danielson and Swerve. And I think this match might have been above that for me, Monet and Britt Baker. This was one of the most important matches to me, top 3, I think. And what happened? Like, my God, I forgot. We're going to never remind it. Like,
there was one part where now, Mercedes Monet is going to be able to get the glove. And then she starts to act like she's going to put it on her hand, but then she goes ahead and makes it look like she's putting a cigarette out on Britt's back. And then while she's fucking around pantomiming over here, Britt reverses it and gets out of it, and now it's reversed. So she gets the glove, and now DMD is going to do the lockjaw, but it ends up leading to an air raid crash, and then you had like the moneymaker moment and a 2 count, and I'm like, what? It was like, all right, we have to hit all of these moves. Doesn't matter how or when, just so long as we check them all off. That's kind of what it felt like. There was no proper like seeming step into the next. There was no transition. It was just move, kick out, move, kick out. None of it flowed well. It all just seemed like this should have been better rehearsed, if anything.
Why didn't they my mic was off still. Why didn't they here's the thing. Why didn't they play into the whole Mercedes' bodyguard lady outside the ring more and like do more of like, at some point the referee notices something's going on and then kicks her out or whatever. And then at the end, Mercedes cheats with something,
Yeah, because Camille basically only thing she did, I believe, was put Monet's bottom foot on the rope to break up the pinfall. And then Britt threw the title at her and made it look like she hit her to get her ejected. So I was like, all right, whatever. But then from there, it didn't matter. So having Camille out of the match didn't benefit Britt at all. She still lost.
Yeah. Like
I don't know. Camille shouldn't be booked this week. I mean, she is so much larger than any of the other females. They should treat her like, that kind of, that the big guy persona. But instead, they just make her a henchman to Mercedes, and what a waste.
Yeah, it doesn't. It just felt like they had this whole story going. I would have drawn. I mean, clearly they should have drawn inspiration from Shawn Michaels and Diesel, and they should have looked at a couple of Shawn Michaels and Diesel matches, maybe taken 2 really good heel moments from Diesel in those matches as a bodyguard, and used them, or even Triple H in China, and used a little bit of it. Not necessarily copied it 100%, but sort of hybrided it into the match somehow. And yeah, it just felt like, hey, let's go out and actually have a match. And that's it. I'll beat you.
Well, the ending didn't even seem like the ending until they announced it, because the fans didn't like react when the match was over. Then they heard the bell ring, everyone looked confused, and then they heard the winner, and they were like, "Oh," because she did the Irish whip to the, like, where she hit her face, Britt's face, into the top rope, and then she hits her with the moneymaker, and then it was like, I don't know, it just didn't seem like that was going to be the moment. So the fans didn't really react until the music hit, and then they were kind of like, "Oh wait, Mercedes won." Like they thought Britt was going to win, and it looked very clunky. It felt very long. Jack Perry and Darby Allin wasn't bad. It was basically just a massacre of Darby. He beat the shit of Darby out of a almost 11-minute match. He did it for like 9 minutes, where he just beat the shit out of Darby somewhere and something. Sting came out to save him, and that was okay. You know, that was not a bad thing, but I hope it's not a permanent return of Sting.
No, I don't.
Let
I
him
don't think
stay
it is.
retired. And then one complaint with the main event with Swerve and Bryan, where they did the whole "I'm sorry" thing. Like, you have to try and be HBK and Ric Flair. Why? Do your own thing.
Yeah.
Why does everybody have to try and recreate that moment?
It was like
that
Alien.
Just drives me nuts.
It was just like the new Alien movie, where they used those lines from the other movies, where in those movies the lines kind of made sense and they were iconic, but when you throw them into this as a member berry, it comes off like, what? Like, it takes you out of the movie. It's the same thing. Great call with that. And by the way, yeah. I missed it because I was looking away. Thank God I looked away. It actually might have made the match better for me. I looked away to do something, and when I looked back over, the whole chat was making fun of it. And I was like, oh, okay, they did that? Jesus. And I thought maybe they did a different, maybe people are interpreting it that way and they didn't really do that. But you're telling me they did, so that's...
Yeah, and then even the Bryan match, a lot of people weren't expecting it to end the way it did, and I mean, I get what they're going for a hit, you know, but it's just still, I mean, it was a 26-minute match exactly, and people were not sure that Swerve tapped out.
Right.
People didn't think it was over. That was kind of a problem with the submission ending. I think they should have gone with like the knee for the 3 count and be more decisive. Even though having him tap means he quits, but still it didn't convey well to the live crowd until it was already over. People didn't see that he tapped out, so it didn't go over well. It made the ending of the main event feel a little bit less than. And out of all 9 matches, I would still say the MJF Ospreay match is my favorite. Their ring introductions. They even had to have the tie-in with Assassin's Creed. You had ninjas, dancing out there and break.
Good job by the ninjas. One little fuck up and that would have looked really stupid, and they all nailed their spots. So I'll give the ninjas some credit.
They did well. It wasn't terrible.
It was goofy though. Another video game thing. By the way, Gavin happened to catch a piece of that, and Gavin said to me, "Feels like everybody's a nerd now." That's what Gavin said, my 14-year-old. He goes, "Feels like everybody's a nerd now." And I go, "That's funny you say that," because I go, Gavin, back in the day, the wrestlers would go out to the bar and they would drink, get drunk, and they would do drugs and all these crazy things. And now it's like they're all in the back playing video games. He goes, "Yeah," I can see that. Now Gavin's a big nerd too, so but he
gets it, but
he observed
he
that.
Can even see like, hey, yeah. I'm sorry, the pre-show. I liked Willow and Ishii taking on Statlander and Stokely.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Statlander had this yellow outfit on, and she just looked hotter than the sun. And then on top of it, the way they actually did the intergender match made sense. So it worked. At the end, Willow hits the pounce on Statlander, and Ishii just goes ahead and just knocks the hell out of Stokely with that big lariat, pins him. They got the win. Just a good moment. I wish they did something with that on the main card instead of the pre-show. But besides that, they had a big multi-man tag match. It was a 16-man tag match before that. And then after that, they had a 10-man tag.
Okay.
I mean, so they had almost 40 performers on the pre-show. It was Leo Rush, Dante and Darius Martin, Action Andretti, Rocky Romero, Kyle Fletcher, Kip Sabian, and Tommy Billington. So Dynamite Kid there taking on Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy. So, let's do some shots. John Silver, Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, Arya Davari, and Anthony Agogo with Ino Uno and Sanjay Dutt. So technically 18 people. In the end, Leo Rush's team prevailed. And then we had Dustin Rhodes, Shibata, Sammy Guevara, and Ross and Marshall Von Erich with Kevin Von Erich against Toa Leona, Bishop Khan, Brian Cage, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett. And it basically just kind of all boiled down to who can do the best claw. I've always hated that move. I hate the fucking claw. I have all moves. That one was always stupid to me. I know it's a Von Erich thing, but still never resonated with me.
Even Killer Kowalski did the whole, he'd grab your head
and I hated it. And I get why it could work, but it just wasn't a good visual move.
Big hands. So big hands as well.
You all have decided to take your hard-earned
Who's
money
this?
And to fund my show, to fund
Take a
what
pee-pee.
I do, to fund
It's,
what I
ladies and
believe
gentlemen,
in,
it's
to
again, it's the
fund
Pitbull
my
Blonin.
godly ass.
The Pitbull
JCS
Blonin.
Army. Donate to me.
It's the Pitbull Blonin.
Acknowledge me.
Sting with the black hair dye and skin hair dye. You could really tell. It was kind of funny.
Fuck you. Tony Khan bought another new toy. Rico shit. Christian won the match. Ricochet back in Tony's toy box. Can't wait for Bash in Berlin next week. You sucks.
Wow.
Sting back really? So much for retirement.
Well, I just think he was there for that appearance. Pitbull Blonin. Thank you, Blonin. Oh, thank you, Matt Cologne. Matt Cologne giving oh, shit, Matt. Look at that. You pulled out your pocketbook there for once. Matt Cologne. Always talking shit, but this time he pulled out his pocketbook. 5 gifted memberships. 5 people are going to be gifted a membership courtesy of Matt Cologne. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, bro. That's awesome, bro.
Come on out, you rapist!
No. Brian Austin got the first one. Thank you, Matt. Very much appreciated. If you guys want to donate, Streamlabs is pinned to the top of the chat, or you can super chat or become a member, that sort of stuff, and make sure you drop questions and comments and opinions. We want to know what you guys think of AEW. We want to know, did we miss something you wanted to talk about? Did you have a favorite match? Whatever it is, drop it, and let's give credit to the top all-time donation of the stream.
Come on out,
that belongs to the Soundwave 92, who dropped $40 earlier, just eclipsing that Pitbull Blonin dono. The Judgment Day Era got a membership as well. Thank you to them. What up, Brian Austin? You got a membership, bro. Oh, look at the people that got gifted. Shell got gifted a membership. Robert Wilson got one. D-Block got one. Brian Austin and Judgment Day Era. Congrats to all of them. Thank you for going out there and doing that. I don't know if there's any other news that has come out that I need to watch for. I don't think so, but let me see. No, I don't think there's anything else that's come out. I thought maybe there could have been something that I missed potentially, but I'm looking right now to see if there's anything breaking news. Anybody was hurt. Here's a little bit from Mariah May. She's delivering a eulogy.
And the pre-show, nothing from the pre-show either, really.
6:48 p.m.
Come on out, you rapist!
Passed away in the middle of Wembley Stadium in a pile of blood, spit, and embarrassment. She died of natural causes because I am naturally better than her in every way. She is survived by her bumbling, bald butler, Ben Mankiewicz, and anyone who pretends to love old movies because they cannot deal with their own pathetic realities. There will be no funeral service. A donation can be made in her name.
Come on out, you rapist!
aew.com/Mariah May. Tony, thanks for everything. You stupid, washed-up twat.
Wow. You called that one. I think I had said, no, Tony Storm will retain it, and this is like a stepping stone to the next thing. But no, it's not what it was.
I thought they'd go with her, yeah.
I was wrong. I hope Tony wears the hat and glasses. God. Now, and Sasha or Mercedes Moné keeps talking about how she's good friends with Tony Khan. Very suspect. I think she's friend zoning Tony Khan and teasing him into just taking him for everything. You know, one time Ryback said that his friend Pat Buck wrestled old men who had money sexually for money and gratification, and Ryback said that about Pat Buck. I think she's doing
Former
that.
best friend.
Right. And he would know. And he said he always had a problem with it. But suddenly he only had a problem with it once they weren't friends. So that's weird. But I think Mercedes Moné is doing this to Tony Khan. I think she sees a sucker.
I mean, she's out there right now, and every time she wants Tony to pay attention, her nipple just gets a little bit closer to popping out, you know?
Yep. And he's fixated. And
He likes to hug. We know he likes to hug.
Dude, he's like Pico. He's blinded. That's what it is.
He wasn't thrilled with you having everybody tweet at him last night, but...
Who, Tony?
Yeah.
Oh. Sure he wasn't. He probably didn't even know.
You can ask Seth. It was one of the things. I was trying to get him to come on, but...
What do you mean? Did he respond to people's tweets?
To me about people's tweets. He's like, I see everybody trying to get my attention.
What? He responded to you?
Yeah, and before.
Wow.
So didn't seem like he was thrilled with the extra attention, but I want to get him on here at some point. I told him you should have promoted this show. But.
See, what I don't understand is how come he knows you're part of the show? He knows you're part of this show and knows people are tweeting him, but he never DMs me ever. Why wouldn't you when you text me and be like, Joe, what are you doing?
You would think.
Why is he texting you? You weren't even on the show.
I know. Go figure.
But he reaches out to you. He's like, I know you're part of that show, Jake. Did we have him tweeted? I don't even remember.
I know you're having somebody. You were saying something about tweeting him last night in the show. I didn't catch all of it, but it was funny.
That is funny. Well, I love Tony. I thought he would think it was kind of funny, or he wouldn't even see it, to be honest. That's what I thought. But the fact that he actually saw it.
I think he is always online. I think that's part of it.
Yeah, he's probably always
I think he's never not online. I don't think he gets more than like 20 minutes of sleep a day.
I don't know what I said to him. I forget what I said to have tweeted to him. Like put me on commentary, you fucking idiot or something. I don't know. I don't know what we said to him. I don't remember.
I honestly don't remember.
He's like he's your road dog. Tony Khan is your road dog at this point. You realize that?
Yeah, he pretty much, yeah, the one that I'm staying in contact with every now and again.
Yeah. Like he hates you for what I did.
Exactly. I want to get him on the show though. I think he would have had a good time, but
I know. It would be cool to get him
All
on.
Out's a week away, right? I mean, they got to sell everybody this Wednesday for All Out, no?
Wait a minute.
When is that? Isn't it what, a week or two away?
It's got to be 2 weeks. Right? It's not next week, right? It's in 2 weeks, right?
Last time it was the weekend after. So
I don't know then. We got to look it up. We got to figure it out. There's so much going on.
Next weekend we have TNA Emergence, and it's the weekend after that. September 7th is All Out. So they have 2 weeks. They have this Dynamite, and the next Dynamite will be the Go Home show. And next weekend we have, Emergence from TNA. Then we have No Mercy and Bad Blood. So NXT and WWE. You got Punk in a strap match against McIntyre. That's going to be pretty badass, I'm sure. I think it's going to lead to them having a Hell in a Cell match, certainly. But
right
after Bash in Berlin, I think Bad Blood, I think that's going to be them having a Hell in a Cell match, definitely. So, yeah, Bash in Berlin, Emergence Day, and No Mercy, It'll be those. And then a couple weekends after that is Bad Blood and Halloween Havoc.
There's so much wrestling coming up. This is wild. This is really the launch tonight of,
Yeah, this right here starts like the fall season of action-packed,
Yeah,
nonstop wrestling.
Lots of wrestling.
Yeah,
because
so I was mostly right. So yeah, it's TNA, WWE, and then NXT next weekend, and then the weekend after that will be AEW for All Out, and then 2 weekends after that, or 3 weekends, whenever we get into October, you have No Mercy, Bad Blood for NXT and WWE, so that'll be good too. Or Halloween Havoc, excuse me.
Let's
there's a lot coming up.
It's a full plate. I think the show was a success though. Overall tonight, I think it was fun. It was a success. I thought it was a 6. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. I just think that, like you said, and I said this the other day, that I was worried that, to me, I know that they would probably disagree with this at AEW, but they really, I feel like there was one main event missing. And by the way, I also think the Mercedes Moné versus Britt Baker, I feel like that should have started the night. That should have started the show. And they should have had, the other women's match more in the middle. I just think it was too late to put on the women's match here. What did you think? Because I feel like the crowd was dead.
Yeah, the crowd got quite the, that let down breathe moment, because you had the ladder match at first, and then you had Tony's match.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, all right, after the ladder match, usually you want something to kind of let people breathe for a minute, but instead it went right into it. And Jericho's match came up after that. Then we had the triple threat with the Young Bucks retaining. Then we had the casino match. And then after the casino match is when we had MJF and Will Ospreay. Then after that, 7th match was Mercedes. So I would have moved them to the Casino Battle Royal spot, have them be 5th in line. Because after MJF and Ospreay, everyone was exhausted. They cheered a ton. They booed. They got into it. People really were all about that match. So by the time they went into the next match, it was Mercedes' match. And I think that they could have served better with the gauntlet match in that position, because at least that staggers entrance. So you have people come out accordingly. And in between, the fans can kind of get a chance to get a drink, food, bathroom, whatever, and catch up.
Right. Yeah, I have to, and part of me is, like I said, I've been a little bit worried to give like a full-on...
You raised a piece of shit!
Whoa!
Joe, I'm in love with Mercedes and can't believe you're not defending her. After all I've done you. How dare you side with Dork? She told me he raped her repeatedly and needs her bills paid off as a result of the trauma.
Oh my
I hate
God.
you and want you dead.
Well, I got to be honest, Tony Khan, you really have never done anything for me that I'm aware of. Like, honestly, WWE has done things for me.
Yeah, and it was Cody that invited you to Dynamite, not Tony.
Yeah, Cody got me in touch with his person to get me tickets. You never did anything, so...
Yeah, no, Tony got me to Grand Slam, not you.
Yeah, Tony Khan, you've never done anything for me, just letting you know. But you don't have to. It's fine. I don't mind telling it like it is. But I could do something for you on commentary if you would actually figure it out. But that's fine. That being said, I do want to say that, again, I have to rewatch this show, or at least some of it, to really put the pieces together. Because like I said, I want to say about half of this show I watched in my kitchen while I was putting stuff away and running around doing errands and stuff like that. And then I really sat and watched the Britt match, the main event, the MJF match, and those were the matches. And the Ricochet, I saw most of that thing too.
Yeah, so you got the last 4.5 matches, last 5 matches, because it went to the gauntlet into the MJF match. So, I mean, you really pretty much got what was...
the good stuff.
What was good, yeah.
So maybe that's why I'm slightly more positive on it, because I didn't have to sit through maybe 3 hours of mediocre before that.
Yeah, like one really bad set to me was the Young Bucks match. You knew they weren't going to lose the titles, and then they made the Acclaimed look like morons. And FTR, I'm just kind of tired of them at this point. Like, I'm really just not behind them like I used to be. And it isn't really anything that they've done. It's just how they've been booked. They've lost so many times now as faces, but yet they're always raring to go. And it's like, I don't know. It just seems like they're just company men, really.
I had them winning too.
Shit bomb.
I don't know.
Wee! Triple M with the donation. What's up, Triple M? Thank you, sir.
The one, the only Triple M going wee. Yeah, and then they brought out the Grizzled Young Vets. So, James Drake and Zach Gibson. I'm always forgetting that. They go and they confront the Young Bucks, but then they start to beat the crap out of the faces. So it's like, oh, they're heels, but you still want the UK crowd to cheer them, Wembley crowd, whatever. It just wasn't a great debut for them, or re-debut, if you should say that. Yeah. I get what they were going for, but a lot of that fell short. Same thing with the Casino Gauntlet. It just went on forever. Felt very slow and very repetitive. And unfortunately, the Mercedes match against Britt, it was just lacking. I mean, really, a lot of it was just lacking. They should have had Camille be more of a difference maker, but they didn't. So she's the hell out of there. And they kind of just teased the lockjaw, but none of it felt great. It felt very just methodically slow, badly paced.
Yeah. Yeah, that match was a disappointment, which is so weird because it was building momentum like up and up and up, and it started not great, and then it got better and better and better, and then that promo.
Well, actually,
last
I
week,
think it started great. The initial announcement, I was all for. I'm like, fuck yeah,
okay.
we're going to see Britt take on Mercedes, and then the next week they had that awful back and forth, and then it just got worse from there. So,
but I thought last week was the first time in a while that I went, yes, let's go this match. I'm ready for this now. Great job, I'm ready to go, and then just like tonight was like, whoop, that's it. Maybe she should have maybe she had her ex-husband make her outfit again, and she was upset, so it didn't work out or something.
could be. You never know. He didn't give her enough sequence.
Now, by the way, I do want to go back on something that I said. I went on a rant for months, or not months, but about a month or maybe 2, about MJF, and I said, if you want heel heat, why don't you make it the Plainville or whatever New York belt instead of making it the U.S. belt? And
the Long Island title,
right?
Something like you said, because now you're booing against America. Here, I get it in this stadium.
But I think that was the whole point, was to get here tonight with him being Mr. America. So why did I not see that? You know what I mean? Like I just wanted to call myself out. I'm calling myself out. That basically for months I'm like, why not make it to Plainville, New York? And again, that still makes sense, and I think that would have still been better for the short term heat. But the whole point was the big story, which was coming here tonight as Mr. USA. So I don't know why did I not pick up on that right away and be like, but they're doing this, so that's why. I never did that. I never said that. So that, and you could say that, well, Joe, you knew that. But I didn't say it. And so I never said it. And so I just wanted to call myself out for anybody who's sitting there thinking like, in the past, Joe, don't you get it? Like USA, All In, it's going to be in London. Like he's facing Will Ospreay. Duh, you stupid idiot. I really was stupid. I wasn't even, how could I miss that? But I did. So just calling myself out, that's all. I was blind or something to not realizing because obviously I still think my point is valid that you could have gotten more local heat, but I should have added that, he's going to, anyway, I'm not going to repeat what I just said all over again, but the bottom line is I was wrong, or at least I should have picked up on that. And maybe people did.
I mean, that was my prediction
that.
was that, being like, what the hell and why, but I mean, it really seemed like, Mr. America needs to get his ass beat in front of the England Wembley crowd. All right. And it was evidently obvious, but every other way to get there was just, like you said, kind of bland, unoriginal, and uninspiring. The match was great. They had a lot of really cool moments. I liked the finish with the Tiger Driver of him finally, being able to use it again. I got tired of seeing faces that are like, I can't do X move or item because it could hurt somebody, while the heel's, shooting people in the front row. It's like such a weird discrepancy, but I don't know. The dichotomy between the two, they managed to bridge that gap tonight. MJF got booed for the kangaroo kick. That was funny. At one point in time, Maxwell goes ahead and he goes to the top rope while Ospreay's on the outside, and he's like, anyone can flip, you piece of shit. And he does the Acai moonsault. And then he just barely goes ahead and, stands on his heads. And then he does the Spanish fly on the outside on the apron. I mean, like, a lot of it was just really well done. And the crowd was behind the match. You got This Is Awesome chants and God Bless America and all sorts of
he yelled
things.
God Bless America, and I popped. And somewhere Biff Tannen popped too. Yeah,
he did that when he did the Heat Seeker pile driver.
Then he goes, I don't need to do flip flop, you stupid piece of shit. Or something like that. I was laughing.
Yeah, he's like, anyone can flip, you piece of shit. That's when he did the moonsault to the outside off the third rope.
Oh my God.
Top rope.
That was
But
funny.
then they had the masked person show up, and I felt like that kind of brought the match down a little bit. You didn't need Daniel Garcia, but
and he's a loot. Nobody cares about him either. That's the thing.
That's the thing. People don't really care at this point, and it's kind of like saying, hey, Ospreay, you can't beat him straight up. You need help.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what it comes down to, because MJF cheated with the ring, but still, that's, you should expect that as a face, and he couldn't go through with hurting him, so that's what turned the fight.
Yeah. I there was something slightly off almost about everything, that made it like, okay, that wasn't quite right. I mean,
Darby Allin barely got any offense in at all. He just got his ass beat for like 10 minutes straight.
Yeah.
And then they shoved him inside the body bag and then inside the coffin after they threw him off to the stage under the 2 tables.
And like you said, maybe that's because, yeah, something's up. His injury isn't done healing and he's got an issue. So they just get him out there, do some little spots, and Sting's going to come out and it will be a fun time. And which is fine. I get that. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But he's capable of having a match that's memorable.
Exactly.
And
so it
this
makes you
could have been
wonder.
memorable. Like this match, like I predicted that this. I think I said in our predictions, I said this one might be one of the matches of the night or my favorite thing I'm looking forward to. And that's not really what happened. They just kind of did the motions so they could get the moment. And
Yeah,
so
really,
I'm
that
surprised.
was most of it.
Remember that Cracker Barrel match? That's still one of my one of the best.
Yeah,
matches.
With, what the hell was his name? Johnny Havoc, Darby Allin, and somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah, like kind of like the Mortal Kombat 4. Like it might have been Joey Janela too. Might have been in it. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. One of them I know he was because they actually used the barrel from Cracker Barrel as a weapon. And
Yep.
I remember Darby. The first match he had with Cody, and he was in the body bag, and
Yeah, that was good.
There's always some crazy shit. I was a bit baffled, and I know this is very nitpicky, but you were mentioning about the director of photography before and how the shots were picked and a lot of things that they missed. It was also baffling that they had the entrances for all of the competitors for the trios titles be done on the pre-show. Okay, you want to not waste time with 10 minutes worth of entrances. I get it. But they didn't even have like a video package and pyro to open the show or anything. It was just like, oh, ring the bell, the match starting. We're now live for All In.
Yeah. If you were to watch,
they played Machine Head for like 3 seconds, and then they checked in with the commentary team, and that was it.
Yeah. That's weird.
So,
it was weird.
There was no like big introduction. No, it was just everybody already going and getting ready for the belts, and then Christian ran away, and it was like, oh, he didn't come back for like 5 minutes, and then they all beat on him. But
what kind of started a little funny for the first few times was the first, the WWE pay-per-views early on, like the first 4 WrestleManias a little bit, but those still started smoother than this, and it's the year 2024. And we are well into how wrestling is produced and things are produced. Why is your show starting like chaotic and weird? I don't know, but it's whatever. That is a nitpicky thing. But I mean, like if you were to buy the Blu-ray to this, how does it start? How does it start if you buy the Blu-ray to this?
Exactly.
But I don't know. But yeah, it's worth noting. It's definitely not as bad though as those missed shots. Like there had to have been 10 to 15 major, like when Sting came back and he got in the ring, they had this wide shot and something happened in the ring with the like people fighting or things happening, and they just completely missed it. It was just
they just passed over, and the announcers are like, oh my god, that was the best thing we've ever seen in our entire lives, and you're like, wait, what?
I didn't see it. Yeah, what happened? And now, okay, and it was multiple times. Like it's. And I don't know, man. It's got to be that the technical director or the director, and probably the director, is asleep at the wheel or doesn't know his shots, doesn't know where his shots are. I mean, they have got to. I want to know, and I don't know. And maybe if anybody knows of a way I can find out who is the director of AEW production and the cameras, and I want to know who that whole team is, and I want to know how long they've been doing it for AEW. Because they should be held accountable. And I think the commentary had issues tonight too, by the way. They missed stuff. Commentary missed stuff tonight, and it was kind of like, that sucks. You should be calling this. And once again, they were distracted, having too much fun as the boys, like at the table or whatever, and they missed things. And it drove me nuts that they weren't emphasizing certain things more or painting a picture in a better way. And it was annoying to me, but it wasn't that. But I was like, well, whatever. But the bigger problem tonight was the camera shot selection and the timing. Bad job. But whatever, it's. But it was noticeable, and it affected the show. It really did. And WWE does it 100 times better. And they did it better when Kevin Dunn was there. They did it better when Kevin Dunn took a back seat and let some other person do it, but he was in charge technically, and he chose who was in charge. They did it better when they've gotten rid of Kevin Dunn and someone else is in charge right now. So WWE did it better for the most part than WCW too, by the way. WWE was better at producing the TV shots and all that stuff than WCW too. So, you really got to give it to WWE. They are a domination in wrestling video production from probably the 1980s to present day. That's pretty amazing. And
From what I see here, it says the production assistant, the one that handles most of it, is Katie Hebner.
Katie Hebner, like Earl Hebner's kid?
According, she married Hebner's son, Bryan.
Oh, boy. So there you go. Family gifted job. Knew it.
It said while his daughter Katie made a cameo appearance in TNA 2008 as Katie Kim, the sister of Gail Kim. Hebner's identical twin brother Dave was also a wrestling referee as well as a promoter. So it sounds she married Hebner's son.
Listen,
and
love Hebner.
Says she's the PA of AEW.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know if that's still standing, but that's Wikipedia anyways.
If that's true, listen, I love the Hebners, and bless her heart, she should probably have a job somewhere for sure. But this is bad. And if she's in charge of this, either she's hired someone who's inept or doesn't know what they're doing, or she doesn't know what she's doing. Somebody doesn't know what they're doing, and I'm sorry, it's just the truth. It's not good. It's not one or two, you miss something. If you miss something sometimes, it happens. It's going to happen. It's a guessing game. It's a feel. It's everything. It's your synergy. This is what I wanted to do. I love directing. Give me camera 4. Give me camera 3. We got to pan in. We got to get that shot. Now and you're thinking ahead and you're producing, it's like a fucking symphony. And listen, you make mistakes. They will happen. And guess what? When you make a mistake, the whole world sees it. Now, does the whole world understand it's a mistake, or does you just sort of see it? Well, things happen, and we don't bring it up a lot. We really don't, because it happens, and you go, oh well, whatever. They missed that shot. This was noticeable tonight, very much noticeable. You know what? The only thing that would save it is if tomorrow somebody came out and said, oh yeah, the person who normally does it was sick. They had COVID and they were throwing up, or they didn't come to London, or something like that, and somebody else was taking over, or a couple people. That would have explained everything. Because this was worse than usual, and they're not usually great, but this was worse. And trust me, I'm not telling lies, and I'm not being overcritical. This production kind of sucked. So it's a fact. And if you are butthurt by it, I'm sorry, but the fact of the matter is, not everyone's always good. You make mistakes. This was a bumblefuck night on video, on production. So... And listen, they work really hard, and I get it, and there's really good people involved here. There are, and people are good, and sometimes they get amazing shots. Tonight was terrible. So, and they had some really good, they did make some good shots. They had some good shots where it was like, great job, great shot selection, but 30% of the time they were wrong, and that's not usual. That's not okay. You miss 1 or 2 shots, shit happens. You miss 15, someone's retarded. And that's what happened tonight. Fact. Anyway, I don't know. I think we're kind of winding down towards, we're going to beat a dead horse at this point. I think we got all the donations played. Soundwave 92 looks like he might be taking home that JCS Digital Championship with the $40 drop. Thank you to Soundwave 92. DEI hire. I don't know. I mean, I just think it's a wrestling hire. Hebner, maybe someone said to Tony Khan, my daughter went to school for TV production. Like she, whatever. And it's not so bad that it's like, well, you don't know what you're doing at all and this is terrible. I won't say that. But what I will say is it's not good. It's not top tier. It certainly isn't. So, and I don't know whose fault it is. I think the cameramen are pretty good. It's not usually the cameramen that they're in the wrong spot or that they have the wrong thing. It's the shot selection. And that's why I bring up the director or the technical director. It's one of those two to me.
Has to be. I mean, and that's the thing. The more I look back and look on like personnel and stuff, yeah. And I mean, I don't know. It's just, it's not a good look, like you said. And it seems like, it kind of has that air of like, oh, nepotism because it's family.
Yeah, it feels
like,
like
we just, the Young Bucks did it before by bringing in their wives to handle the management of like all their materials and all of their sales of like T-shirts and whatnot, and that notoriously didn't go great either. So I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a good 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 place to be right now. But these things are just very, very noticeable. You're trying to watch the show and they're talking about things that you're not seeing happening live.
Yeah. And, JR, I love JR, and I have no problem with him coming on tonight and Jim Ross, doing and saying what he did. But, again, like I said, JR is doing a lot of fourth wall breaking, almost like he's on a podcast talking about the wrestling business. And a lot of these guys now are having this trouble. It's not just JR, but at his age, he's definitely having these little blurps where he's throwing out industry terms and shoot terminology because he's been doing more podcasts and behind the scenes type of talk than he has been wrestling stuff. So, for him to say stuff like, it could have been devastating for either one of them, or whatever. What are you doing, buddy?
I don't have anything to do.
Oh, sit behind me. What's wrong? Why don't you have anything to do? What's going on?
The VR's dead.
Sit down, though. You got no pants on, dude. You got, undies on. What are you doing? What are you, naked?
I'm charging the VR button.
What's Mom doing? I'm getting off in a few seconds anyway, buddy. We'll go do something. What do you want to do? What's up? You want to go to Jake's house and attack him? Give me a hug. What are you hiding? Give me a hug. You gonna get a haircut like your brother?
He wants to come here and beat me up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He'll beat you up. You want to beat up Jake?
How strong he is.
You look exhausted, Finn. You want to go to sleep? It's too early to go to bed. Your brother got a haircut. You want one too?
It's so funny that Brenna is so much like Danielle. It's funny when she goes ahead and, just like she was talking about all like the Samantha Carpenter stuff, and it's all this crap that I'm even still aware of because Danny's still, kid at heart. But it's like, oh yeah, she sings lyrics different at the end of every show. That's their little thing. Or the skibbity toilet stuff, and that my nieces and nephews are big into.
Right.
That's just pure brain rot. But it was just funny seeing how excitedly hyper she was and how Danny used to be the same way. Just very cool.
She really is sad. She wants to go to the So we were looking for Taylor Swift concert, and it was insane thousands. I'm like, we can't. You'll never see this. Sorry. And so then she starts going to the next tier of people she likes, and she comes to the Sabrina Carpenter. I go, yeah, maybe I can do Sabrina Carpenter. Let's take a look at that. And those tickets are $1,200 each, or $600 each. I'm like, oh my god,
nightmare costing. It's so ridiculous the way they price gouge fans, and because they're doing. And I know it's a reseller thing on Ticketmaster and whatnot with all the fees, but it's just terrible because a lot of these things are like young adult or kid oriented, and they know that's who they're marketing towards, and they know the parents are going to forever be hated if they don't get these tickets.
You raised a piece of shit,
as much as a mortgage.
All right, relax, Leonard Kitty Kisser. Jesus.
Oh my.
Well, what a sicko. Yeah,
but Courtney, her sister wanted to take Danny to go see Taylor Swift, and she was expecting to pay $300 a ticket when they wanted to do it for the two of them. And she kept refreshing, and the cheapest she found was $950, and she's like, "Nope, that's out." I'm like, "Yeah, it's insane. It's not worth it." So,
well, and the other night, B went to a Taylor Swift at the drive-in. Where they blew out foam and had a rave and all the kids are dancing. She was there from 6 to 10:30, and they played her up on the screen and stuff like that. And
that's cool.
Yeah, I guess it was wild. But anyway,
we had one of those foam parties in college. So as kids, those things must have been awesome.
Yeah, can you wait a minute? I'm almost done.
Can I be on?
Yeah, foam parties. Hey.
Yeah, foam party. I want to go to a foam party with you, Jake.
We had it in college. That shit was crazy.
I want to pour foam all over you.
I'm down to get.
We had it in college.
Sudsy.
Of course you did.
Gavin looks like
get all sudsy.
Yeah, Dork Knight has probably had one of those too, and then got arrested.
Where's the beta?
Where's the beta? He's not here.
Oh, beta's not here.
Yeah.
No.
He's somewhere else.
Away crying.
She's talking about Nerdy, by the way, for people that don't know.
I heard last night. That was hilarious.
What are you wearing?
Sweatpants and then Thing 2 shirt.
Thing 2 shirt?
Yeah, me and Matt
yes.
made it.
Okay. Well, I guess we're going to wrap it up here because my kids have found me. They're like, all right, time to hang out with Dad.
Time to hang out with Dad. Exactly. But yeah, we basically covered everything. I would give it a 6 out of 10 as well. Decent show. They gave like one of the biggest returns away on the pre-show and Jamie Hayter, and you knew Ricochet was confirmed to be there. They confirmed he was going to show up, so it wasn't really a surprise.
No Shane McMahon. We didn't talk about that.
So you
Yeah,
mean,
I
like,
literally just gonna say that. I was holding out for Shane. I kept hoping that we'd see him just to have that big pop, but not what happened. And don't forget though, they have All Out in 2 weeks, so they might have to save something for then. All in all, this was basically like a 2-match card. Everything else just felt like a drag. Not the WrestleMania of AEW that we were hoping for, but certainly decent in some aspects. A fun night, fun day, however you want to put it.
Yeah, it feels weird. It doesn't feel like 6:30. So.
What's Jake's favorite singer?
Jake's favorite singer?
Yeah.
What's Jake's favorite singer? What's Jake?
I don't know if I could pick one off the top of my head. I listen to a ton of music, so
See, boys don't have favorite singers. I'm telling you. Like I have a favorite singer. My friends have it. I ask like every boy in this whole entire world, and they're like, I don't know.
I really like the new Marilyn Manson singles that he's released.
Jake likes the new Marilyn Manson.
I don't like Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, I put that on the other day, and Brenna happened to catch a piece of it and was like, I go, look at that, Brenna, when he's like wrapped in the rap stuff, and she's like, I don't like that.
And the Red Flag song,
but she
as well.
But she loves Beetlejuice and like loves horror stuff, so I don't understand. I'm like, wouldn't you like this?
I want to be eaten alive by it.
What?
I want to be eaten alive by it.
That's a good goal to have.
I mean, you got to have goals. I want to be eaten alive by it. Madonna Wayne or John Wayne Gacy would have loved you.
I said that, and it just
right.
Terry Crews had a field day. What are you gonna do? Tim Curry is not far behind.
I think I need help because whenever I watch it, Chapter 1, my friend starts crying because Georgie gets eaten, but I love that part.
That's the best part of the movie.
That's what I'm saying.
They got to
when the child gets murdered by the clown.
Well, it doesn't really happen.
Well,
it's not real.
Well, it's the kid's fault for talking to the clown in the sewer.
Yeah. Why would you talk to anything in the sewer? That's a big mistake.
Yeah.
For real though, bro, it's his fault. That's not mine. Wait, do they know that I have? Do they know I have 2 ferrets?
Yes,
I do.
Can I go get them?
No, because I'm ending the show right now. We're getting off.
Show and tell time.
Yeah,
Please,
show and tell.
I want to do show and tell and show them my ferrets.
No, I've shown them on the show before, and I don't want to smell like them. No, I'm literally ending the show right now.
You've never shown them on the show.
See, I even know their names. It's Murph and Steve.
What are their names? Do you know their names?
Dead and gone.
Steve.
They know. So their
Did you laugh at that, Vin?
He
their
did.
original names were Mocha and Mochi, but I renamed them Georgie and Billy.
Georgie and Billy. All right.
What? Like Georgie from It and Billy from Stranger Things?
No, Billy from Billy from It and Georgie from It.
What's wrong? Why would you rename the poor things?
Because they don't even
mind.
They don't even know their name.
I know.
They like the new name change. They feel like it's a whole new them.
By the way,
Parents get to go ahead and celebrate.
So, I was wondering if I can get Sabrina Carpenter merch.
I don't know. We'll take a look. Let me end the show and then we'll take a look. Let me end the show. We'll take a look. If we do, it's because Pip. All right, Jake. We'll see you later, man.
Hey, everybody.
Thanks for being here.
Night. We'll talk to you soon. Have
that
fun.
one kid growing up that would fart in class and say, "It was the bunny."
What?
The class pet.
You're messed up. Doesn't sound right.
Jake built like a dinosaur.
See, Jake has lost a lot of weight. You know what Jake used to look like?
What Jake look? Okay, that's him right now. That's him.
You know what Jake used to look like?
Wait, are you still streaming?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna rate Jake queso out of 10.
Jake's got a lot of medical issues. You know that.
Guys,
I've told you this. You've seen him forever.
No, I don't even know Jake.
You know Jake. You just don't talk to him. You were literally on his video game stream. Remember when you were on? Do you remember when you were on his video game stream years ago?
Nope.
You don't remember that?
I know Beta though.
And his daughter and you and Drew and everybody's kid and you guys were on the video game stream? You don't remember that?
No.
What's wrong with your memory? That's him right there.
Oh wait, I do remember that.
Yeah, because he looks like a different person now.
He looks
That's
so
why.
big.
He was big there. He was he lost like 380 pounds.
What?
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for being here, and thanks for last night. And go back and watch it from the beginning if you missed the stream.
Don't be surprised if my dad's gone later.
I'll dead gone. Soundwave 92 was the top dono. Thank you, sir.
I'll be the one that will be on his back.
What? You gonna be
What
on my
did
back?
Jake just say? Jake D. Marco said, "Stay, chat."
Stay crazy. All right, boys and girls. We'll see you next time.
No, we won't.
Let's end with Sith Negan because of his big bomb drop. Listen to
Sith was like, here, you're going to call me out all these times. I'm going to tell you to shut the fuck up, sit down before I make you taste my dick. My dick.
You should end with Sabrina Carpenter.
I mean, fuck up, sit down before I make you taste my dick.
See you guys later.
You got so much. This is what you want, this is what you get. I said the vision bomb that will make you regret. Regret, stepping up to him, you got no chance. Get ready, the legend is here. End of line, end of line. End of line, the enemy decides.